So, WNBA legend Cynthia Cooper praises Caitlyn Clark and her ex-teammate Cheryl Miller. Hello, everybody, and welcome to our channel. I'm Mark.
And I'm Rob.
So, hey, if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please do so. Hit the notification bell when you do so you get notified of our next video. And join us for the live game, opening game. Rob, I can't wait. Sky and the Fever, 2:45 today. Game time is probably around 3:05. Join us for that, and join us for Caitlyn Clark's crossover every Monday and Thursday, 6 to 7 and 5:30 to 6:30, respectively. So let me give you a little history lesson for people that aren't familiar with Cynthia Cooper. She went to USC and played with Cheryl Miller for 4 years. She did not start her freshman and sophomore year because that team was so stacked. But she averaged 14 points off the bench. So she was one of their leading scorers her freshman year, and I think 10 or something. And then she averaged 17 her senior year. She started her senior year. Together, the two of them in their 4 years, they won the national championship freshman and sophomore year, along with the McGee twins. McGee twins graduated, so they weren't as good the junior year, didn't do anything. Their senior year, they made it to the finals again, but lost to an undefeated Texas team. Cheryl Miller had her worst shooting game almost ever, like 2 for 11, but she's got 16 points all at the free throw line. But Cynthia Cooper led them with 27 points, but they still lost by around 16. They lost to them early in the year by around 16 when Cheryl Miller scored 31 points. So anyways, that was Cheryl Miller's last collegiate game, unfortunately. But Cynthia Cooper did really well in the final game. Then she went over to Europe and played in Italy. And then at age 34, when the WNBA started, she played for the Houston Comets. And she was teamed up with Cheryl Swoops. And together they won 4 championships in a row. She was MVP the first 2 years, led the league in scoring 3 years in a row, and was finals MVP 4 years in a row. She wasn't a great defender, but she was a great offensive player, a great clutch player, and a great leader at that point. So that's to give you some background information about Cynthia Cooper. And so she has a lot of credentials. Some people think she's the GOAT because she got 4 championships in 4 years. I'd probably go to Lisa Leslie. Longer career, better defender, but whatever. I think you can make that argument. She played 4 games again 3 years later, but that's it, after she had retired temporarily. So she went on All the Smoke podcast with Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson, 2 NBA players. Rob doesn't really like Steven Jackson or even Matt Barnes. But Matt Barnes is pretty good on this show. He seems fairly bright. Steven Jackson, I think he's just along for the ride. That's just my opinion on what the excerpts I've seen. But let's go to Cynthia Cooper.
One word to describe Caitlyn Clark.
Amazing. A beast. She is the truth. She's the truth, and she was a rookie. Knock down the three-pointer, get to the rim. She can get to the free throw line. She's crafty.
Yeah, very crafty.
Crafty. So sometimes she look like she's coming off for a 3-point shot and she backdoors you for a layup. She gets her teammates involved. She can pass. She can shoot. And she is a complete basketball player. And you know what I want to see? So many people talked about Sabrina and Steph, with that 3-point shooting contest. You know what I want to see in the WNBA All-Star game? I want to see Sabrina Ionescu shoot against Caitlyn Clark.
Yeah, me too.
I want to see that 3-point shooting contest.
Yeah.
That was great, what she said. And
Cynthia Cooper has a lot of cred. I watched her in the early years of the WNBA with her in the Houston Comets. She was definitely an awesome player. So she knows what she's talking about. And she's spot on what she's saying about with Caitlyn Clark.
And notice
I like that one word. I just like that one word. Amazing. She is. Right. She's amazing.
Notice she said she's a complete player. Other people say she's not. Other people are more complete players than her, better all-around players. Complete player. And Caitlyn Clark's defense needs to work, but she's still a decent defender, and people try to pretend it's not. She's not. Anyways, that was an All Smoke. And then they talked to her about Cheryl Miller, and I just gave you the background on that. So now that you'll understand, I did that for a reason, because you'll understand why when you hear this clip here. And Cheryl Miller, if you don't know, did score 105 points in high school, and she refers to that here.
And she also used to make Reggie Miller cry when they played one-on-one.
And they're only like a year and a half apart. That's how good Cheryl Miller was.
Yeah.
She's a year and a half older, but still.
We could not see eye to eye on anything. She was Kobe. I had some Shaq in me where Kobe, you can be you, but you ain't gonna tell me how to do it.
Did I mention I was a little rough around the edges when I got to college? I didn't mention that. Yeah, I was, straight out of the Watts. Like, you talking about straight, I was straight out of Watts.
Yeah, man, I'm from Watts. See, she would say that. I'm like, and? This still tastes the same.
Yeah.
The same.
And it was hard for Cheryl and I to see eye to eye, mainly because she was up here and I was down here.
Coming out of high school, you're hearing you're the end all be all. I started drinking my Kool-Aid at a very young age.
I thought I was the greatest. I thought I had it, like I was it. I had a chip on my shoulder coming from the inner city, going to USC, and then here comes Cheryl Miller. 105 points in the game. I'm like, yo, but she ain't play against me. They didn't want none of Locke High School, LOCKE. They ain't want none of that, right? They ain't want none of that, right? So I'm feeling myself. I'm feeling myself. And then we have our first practice. And I say, shit, damn, Coop, you got to get better.
I knew I was good, but I didn't believe I was good. So I was insecure. So you're going to challenge me. I ain't no punk.
She was so great.
Wow.
So talented. And she played so hard. The first thing that came to mind was, Coop, she better than you. You gotta do better. I went to work after that. I went to work. So, I had to talk my shit because I didn't have what she had.
Cooper, do you ever shut up? Let me just ask, do you ever shut up?
She was amazing, especially at her size. She was the first at her size to have that level of talent.
Yes.
Knock down the three, get to the rim, play defense, run the fast break. You name it, she could do it. And I was like, wow, I want to be like you. So, I had to, try to punk her because I ain't had a game to match up. I ain't had it.
We've used that tactic a lot.
I've
used that a lot in my career.
I'm like,
and it works.
Yeah, see what I'm saying?
My whole career.
You got to get your bluff in, right? I had so much to learn and so much to add to my game, and she already had it. Like, I was like, oh my God, she's great. I ain't tell her that. I did not tell her that.
Yeah. I did not
I'm
tell
like,
her that.
yo, I'm from Watts. I will whoop you.
Yeah.
She was like, yo, I'm from Riverside.
I may live in Riverside, but I ain't no punk.
I care about no Riverside. This is Watts up in the building.
Watts in the building.
Watts in the building.
I love that, Rob.
Yeah, I thought it was great, back and forth with teammates. You could tell they loved each other. I mean, I kind of relate to Cooper because when I played, I lived in the city and I played basketball in the suburbs where, around the point with white kids. And so I'm like, I'm from the city. You guys play the white ball out there in the suburbs. You don't know about taking it to the hoop and being strong like that. So I said, I'm going to come out here. I'm like, no, I'm going to show you how we play. We play in the city, not in those suburbs with your little passing and this kind of stuff. I'm taking it to the hoop and kind of be tough. So I kind of can relate to what Cooper was saying.
Right. And Rob and I are big Cheryl Miller fans until we actually saw her play in the Olympics in 1984, and I didn't know who she was. And they just said she just led USC to 2 national championships. And I watched her. I thought she was like twice as exciting as any woman on the court and twice as good. And I always thought she was the best woman player I ever saw until Caitlyn Clark came around. And by Caitlyn Clark's senior year, her ability to make her teammates better and how she could just carry a team, I thought I'd give her that very slight edge over Cheryl Miller. But Cheryl Miller's second. If you don't have Cheryl Miller in your top 3 along with Brandon Stewart, I think your list is off. That's just my personal opinion. Cheryl Miller should be second or first, And the thing is, Cynthia Cooper was great. I mean, she's 14 points off the bench. She should have been starting. But Cheryl Miller was like the best player of all time, and she was like trying to get with that. And Cynthia Cooper turned into, Cheryl Miller blew out an ACL when she was 26 before WNBA existed. She played in some leagues, but they were not WNBA. And she never had a career in the WNBA. She would have been the GOAT of the WNBA if it was there when she graduated from college. No question about it. And if you want to see Cheryl Miller play, I just found that finals game is on tape. That finals game is on YouTube, but that's Cheryl Miller's worst game. But you can see her freshman and sophomore year championship games. They're on YouTube. And also when they won the gold medal in the Goodwill Games against Russia, they beat Russia for the first time. They had a 7'2" woman who was old at that point.
Cheryl Miller's one of the people who I think that was a great player who actually could, be a great coach, unlike like Jordan or Johnson. I mean, she did coach, but I mean, if she wanted to step into the WNBA, she would be great, as you saw in the All-Star game. And she enjoyed what I like about her is that she enjoyed being around those young players, and then she was excited with Caitlyn Clark, coaching Caitlyn Clark, which I would be, and just seeing how exciting it was. And then also with Enrique, just being around these young all-stars, she enjoyed it. She wasn't the old guy. Well, I'm Cheryl Miller. She was like, go out there, do your thing. And Enrique, that's why Enrique's like, go ahead, shoot the ball, do it up.
Right, Robin. If you go watch the film of Cheryl Miller, her jump shot form is perfect. It's 60 years ahead of its time for women, but it's unbelievable. It's better. She has better form than her brother, Reggie Miller, who's famous for his three-point shooting.
Yeah, he shot from the side. He
hit his elbow sticking out. Right.
Yeah.
And she was a great all-around player. She could pass, and she passed in the post well. She was a very good defender. There was no weaknesses to her game. The only thing I can say is she didn't make her teammates better like Caitlyn Clark did. That's the only reason I give Caitlyn Clark a very slight edge. But Caitlyn Clark's a very unique player, and she's the point guard. Cheryl Miller was like a small forward, and so she was like around 6'2". So, anyways, I thought it was a great take by Cynthia Cooper both times in terms of her experience with Cheryl Miller and also what she said about Caitlyn Clark. And so, hopefully, this won't get edited out. We won't have to edit out. We won't get any copyright infringements, and both of these will be in there. So, anyways, let us know what you think down below, and hit that like button. Feel free to make your comments and share with your family, friends, and acquaintances. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please do so. Hit the notification bell when you do so you get notified of our next video. And join us today, Saturday, May 17th, opening day, Fever versus the Sky. We're going to go live at 2:45. Game starts probably around 3:05. And join us for Caitlyn Clark's crossover. We'll talk about the game on Monday night, 6 to 7, and Thursdays, 5:30, 6:30. Guest podcasters talk about Caitlyn Clark a lot. Good stuff like that. Join us for that. And if you want, you can donate to this channel with super chats and super thanks down below and a link to PayPal. And we'll see you in the next video.
Peace out.